meeting for August 6, 2024 to order. Roll call, please.
President Scott Jones,
Here.
Patrick Bragg, Tim Groff,
Here.
Nick Brown,
Here.
Eric Pullum.
Here.
Everybody get a chance to review the minutes?
Pass these to
I'm
the.
not sure you will be able to pass them.
Sure. Here, here's one for John.
Unless we vote.
Oh yeah, we probably could just put them into the record with no official passage, so. If you have any recommendations for edits, let us know. But since we changed the board makeup,
Yeah.
I recommend we submit the minutes into the record and note that due to the board composition, we'll not be able to officially approve those.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Okay. Art Town Engineers Report.
It's posted. One thing to highlight, let's see here, is, whoa, that's too big, is we did make our second application for community crossings here in '24. So it was for 1.5 million worth of work, mainly 500 West and some local roads in Bay Creek East, Bay Creek, and Emerald Springs. So we won't find out on results of that grant application probably for at least a couple months. We'll wait and see what NDOT comes back with, but we did request the max that we could for that application. Everything else is kind of posted. We've got a lot going on. Second Street Signal, McCord Square, Champion Lake sewers wrapped up, and then a lot of development work going on. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
The Champion Lake, do we just have one connection over there right now?
I believe there's 3. I'm not sure that all 3 are completed yet.
Okay.
It's been a day.
Public Works Department report.
Really nothing. Well, we did receive our Western Star truck with the salt spreader and plow on it. However, it has to go back for some repairs and recalls for the truck.
We haven't even put 7,000 miles.
That's unbelievable.
Wow. Okay. I'm assuming that's under warranty.
Oh, yeah.
Better be.
Okay.
It's brand new, it better be.
Yeah, I already reached out to the dealership. They're expecting the truck.
All right. No old business, new business, garbage and recycling bid proposal review.
Yeah, and if you refresh, I just uploaded the bid tabulation and staff recommendation letter, which is why I was late. I'll pass these down. Everybody has these. Okay.
Chance to look at them on my phone.
Yeah, sorry, I got them out. I told you it'd be a tight turnaround. So, first of all, this is for the garbage service for the town of McCordsville, starting in 2024. Base bid was for 6 years with an option for 2 additional years. We received 5 total bids. One was a no bid. The other 4 were completely responsive. You can see the bid tabulation that was passed out and then attached on the agenda. After reviewing and asking a couple additional questions from Priority, who had a couple, they just do things a little differently, it seems. So we had to clarify something. He's Alex, I think it's Lipinski, is on his way. There's a wreck on 465. And then staff met yesterday to review the bids and discuss the various alternates and options. Priority was by far the low bid on cost. So we would recommend from staff that we pass on to council consideration of Priority. Waste Management was probably the second low bid there. Just for clarification, and we also recommend the 6 years plus the 2 alternative years, 7 and 8, as the rates were very competitive. Except for, I have a missed number on Priorities, I see. They're year 8. That's not correct. I'll have to look it up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the average, 8-year average. I added a column, forgot. Sorry. It's been a day. So, Priority was low bid. They're a little different in the additional toter. So just to be clear on what their bid is, all the others have a monthly cost to those $6 to $7 in there, $6 to $10. Priority will have a fee up front. So their bid is for providing 1 toter but servicing up to 2. And so if you want a second one, they will either service one that you own if you already have it, and it meets their industrial specs for a toter. So like if you bought one that Waste Management is currently using, they will service that, but they will not warranty it. So if it breaks, you just put a big X on it and they'll just release it when they throw it in there. Or you can buy a second toter for $125, but then there's no additional fee during the service period. So it's an upfront cost, but then it's just part of their base bid. So we recommend that. Town facility costs, I clarified that. Everybody else had the cost of the town facility cost. There's that included. We don't know what that meant. So he said that is all the current facilities plus 5 additional included in the bid. So as we add the community center, or who knows what else, McCord Square, we need a dumpster, that'll be included up to 5, and then there'll be a rate beyond that, which I don't anticipate us adding that many buildings, but you never know. And then with that being said, I'll kind of lump these next ones together. So alternative 1 was recycling at Town Hall, continuing what we're doing, and then kind of a 3 or 5 time. And then alternate 2 was curbside recycling, and we felt that this will be for the council to debate, but we felt that the rates provided by Priority were very good for curbside recycling, and eliminate some of the headaches here at Town Hall with the current system that we have and the investment that we're going to have to make at Town Hall to make it more efficient. So staff's recommendation is actually to consideration of adding curbside recycling and then not doing ceasing the Town Hall recycling bins. With the caveat that if Town Council decides not to take curbside recycling, we will need to continue the Town Hall recycling. We need to have an option.
Just a question on the recycling, is that including a toter or?
Yeah, so, well, we'll make sure there, that's a good question for him to ask, but yes, that would be every other week recycling cost.
Right, but
With a toter,
okay.
with an additional toter. And then, again, alternate number 3, actually council originally said not to do. We decided to get a price on it just for consideration. We feel that for the minimal cost that adds, it's a service to the community and it should at least be considered. So we're going to recommend they at least consider it, and we'll let them make that final decision for 50 to 64 cents over an 8-year period. That is 15 bags being picked up per their contract in a week in the spring and a week in the fall. So not everybody will use that. We understand that, but it was a minimal cost. We think it should at least be considered. And then alternate number 4, billing by provider. Only 2, Waste Management and Best Way, submitted on that one, and it was not for they were very similar in cost, $2 to $2.50, and we did not feel that that was necessary. Beth does fine work for us. So our recommendation is take the base bid from Priority with consideration of curbside recycling and spring and fall yard waste pickup. Any questions? I see Best Way and Waste Management.
Very much.
Thank you we appreciate you bidding on it, and this is all subject to negotiation as well. So bids are open until we get a final contract and everything's in line. So we'll see where it all goes here by the end of the year. We were going to pick Priority, but they were late. So. Just kidding. John, did you have a question?
Is there a bulk pickup, monthly bulk pickup?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. At the very end of the base one, all of them, that was one of the questions, one bulk item per month is in the base bid, and all of them said they would do that. So it's, there you go. And just for reference, so if you averaged out the 8 years and wanted to hold the residents' rates and you just did the base bid, our current rate is $13.98, and Priority's rate over the 8 years is $13.90. So that's why we think the consideration of curbside recycling and possibly leaf pickup are additional services to our residents at a minimal cost that provides, based on our surveys that we did, it seemed like not everybody, but a clear majority were interested in additional recycling opportunities. Any other staff welcome to interject if you have any other comments?
No, I don't think I have really anything to add. I think that was accurate for what staff looked at, and I believe your action would be a recommendation to town council.
Did you read over the letter? I think that reflected this. I apologize, it's coming in late. I think that's recommendation is what we outlined here and would recommend to town council.
I think your motion would be
Motion to accept staff recommendation?
yeah. I was going to say ultimately the town council will have to enter into negotiations to actually get the contract language with your selected provider.
Yeah, this is what we're recommending the services they consider. They'll debate, in particular, curbside recycling and the leaf pickup, and then their motion will be to enter negotiations with, in this case, Priority, for the contract that we need to get in place prior to the end of the year. So we're just recommending that, we're essentially just recommending the services based on the bid.
So I'll make a motion to pass this recommendation on to the town council. That's the way to say it.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thank you all for submitting bids. We do appreciate it. Town council meeting is next Tuesday at 6:30, and I'm not 100% sure where this line item will land, just for your information. We haven't gotten that agenda put all together, so somewhere between 6:30 and 10.
Midnight.
Oh, Alex, there's an extra copy for you. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Ordinance 051424B.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So this should look a little familiar. This is a proposed amendment to our parking regulations within the municipal code. We have discussed this, I believe, twice at the town council level. This started as an amendment focused on arterial and collector streets. And we got, focused on prohibiting parking on arterial and collector streets. As we got further into the discussions, there was a desire also to include some language that would allow, not allow, but would provide a route for HOAs or residents to propose parking restrictions within their subdivision to the town council for further consideration in the future. And so we have added that language, and our goal tonight really is just to ensure that the edits staff has made since the June council meeting are what we all believe was the intent of the discussion. And then if so, we'll place this on the August council meeting next week on the agenda for a public hearing and second reading.
Just, Ryan, when we talked at council, I think that we were under the consensus that in the subdivisions, we wanted to make it residents and not homeowners.
Yeah, so I have trouble reading that far away in that section.
I think that's,
Oh, like if it's a rental, the resident has a
Yes.
voice?
So I kind of heard, I went back and watched it today.
okay.
And it was a little bit, I didn't find it super clear. So here's how, the change that I made is in 7110B. It requires the HOA or a resident, not a lot owner, but a resident, to file the petition. So-
Under B1, it says with the petition, the homeowners association or lot owner.
Yeah, so let me get there. So
Okay.
B is HOA or, just a resident that is in that neighborhood, could be a renter, could be a lot owner, someone really passionate about the parking issue, can work around a petition and get that signed and then propose it to the town council. So with B1, there was a discussion about, well, what happens if it's just a resident? Does every person in the house get to vote? And that was, I heard concern about that because we didn't know how to, if Tim's neighborhood is his wife, he and both children get to vote.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So that was the tact I took, and again, we can edit this in any way you would like us to edit it, was it allows anyone, even just a resident, to get this petition going. If there's someone who wants to drive this, as we all know, getting folks to sign anything these days is difficult. So if you find one person that's passionate and they're a renter, that's okay. They can get this started, but they would need a majority, 51%, of lot owners to sign on.
And I think, at least me personally, that's, and we can talk about it at council, but that's my concern is there's some neighborhoods that,
The renter issue.
yeah, like you would never get it because a lot of the homeowners are investment firms and
Yeah.
things like that. So, and I tend to think that those might be the neighborhoods that have the most issues with parking.
Would be, yeah, so we can spend some time too. If that's the desire, we can keep this written like this.
Yeah.
We can edit it to be residents and think about language that, maybe it's.
Like one
One
vote
resident
house
per lot?
or per home.
So it's still based on the number of lot, 51% of the total lots, one resident per lot, over the age of 18.
Could do that.
He's gonna go around recruiting kids to sign the petition. So, yeah.
Okay, but I mean, we can recommend this to council and then talk about that at council.
If you prefer what Tim just said, we'll just write it that way in time for the council meeting next week.
I do, but I don't want to speak for everybody else that's going to, like, on council. I don't want to speak for everybody else.
That's the more complicated language, I guess, so
Yeah.
we could write it that way. It's always easier to come back to this.
Right.
So we could write it as a resident, 1 per lot, over the age of 18.
You could even go with, if you're renting it, you signed a lease. So it could either be the leasee or homeowner.
Leasee.
Yes, or leasee. It could be one or the other. That clarifies who the signer has to be. So it can't just be like somebody squatting in the house either. It's the person on the lease, or
Okay.
that'd probably be the cleanest, if you will.
Okay.
Do you want us to update it to that language and start from there?
Yes, and like we can just chat with everybody about it next week.
Yep.
But I think that the rest of this is definitely something that needs to be done sooner than later.
So what do you need from us tonight?
I don't think anything necessarily formal. Again, we've talked about the
What
council,
we're
they're
doing.
already aware of it,
Yeah.
already given.
We've already had first reading at council, right?
Right.
Had first reading already. We actually took it back, really. We didn't hold a second. We had a second. Yeah.
Have we done public notice on it yet?
Well, yeah, we've done notice. It's scheduled for Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll write it up with some language about lot owner / leasee, and we'll ask for best input on that exact language and bring it back on Tuesday.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next is the proposal for traffic signal design at Brookside and Emeralds, or Brookside Parkway and Emerald Boulevard.
You're skipping over
Oh,
one.
nope,
Oh.
there's trail one in between there.
Shoot, I'm so sorry.
I was like, that doesn't
The
look
Carroll
right.
Road Trail.
Yeah, so this is a contract or a scope of work for a small trail piece. Mark, who's ever running you can pull the aerial for me. So one of the things that we have listed in our capital projects plan is this specific gap, but we also have other gaps listed to fill in areas where we do not anticipate future development filling in that gap for us, if that makes sense. So we have a lot of larger gaps across town, but whenever they're adjacent to a property we think will develop in the future, we tend to skip that and not expend town resources on something that we believe development will build for us in the future. So we have focused on the smaller gaps that are either a crossroad that's already been developed or that we do not believe will develop in the future. And so this particular gap is those two very long skinny parcels. They're along Carroll Road, and they're essentially sitting between the enclave of Deer Crossing and Pinevale Estates. This is one of the remaining gaps along Carroll Road, north of State Road 67. It's about, I want to say, 600 or 700 feet long, but there's some grade in there that needs to be accounted for. We need to do survey, and of course design the trail. And so this contract does all of those things for us. It would allow us then to properly budget for construction in 2025 and potentially build in 25 if we move forward this year.
Pretty sure 25 is pretty maxed out. Shoot for 26.
26.
Well, design in 25 for construction in 26.
Should have design way this year.
We do. I'm just saying timing wise. I guess it depends on the cost.
Yeah, like in my mind, it seems like a very high cost for just planning 600 or 700 feet of trail. But
We thought the same thing when we got it, and then we kind of vetted it out and walked through it, and the things we could have cut were things we thought we need. Like the survey is one of the biggest costs, and we really need the survey.
I think, it's inflationary costs are just shocking us on everything right now, and this is another example of that.
And this is,
We did a similar gap. We designed, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember the cost of that, but it was, I think, in the 40s or low 50s. I can't remember, Mark, if you remember what that one was.
I don't.
That one will be bid out later this year. We'll construct it in 2 phases. But, you know, unfortunately, these little gaps are expensive on a per linear foot basis, but they're necessary if we want to continue to create a pedestrian network that is continuous.
yep. And this is also, this does not include acquisition.
It does not include acquisition of
So-
land, correct?
We could
Some
design
cost
this
there.
and not be able to acquire the land as well.
It's when the survey really becomes necessary because you're gonna
Exactly.
have to create right-of-way exhibits to acquire the property, so you really have to have the survey to move forward.
I agree with Ryan. A lot of our bigger gaps, we assume development's gonna come, but this is one where you need to connect the 2 trails somehow, and unfortunately, that's gonna land on the town.
Just curious, I know there's no way to know the exact number, but any idea of like what total cost ends up being with construction, land acquisition, and everything else?
400,000,
400?
300,000 to 400,000, I think my guess.
That's just the difficulty. A lot of these are, you would say, they're not low-hanging fruit projects. A lot of times there's some aspect of them that makes it difficult. This one will be interesting to construct too, just the heavily wooded nature of the area. So it will add to the difficulty of the construction, just because of the soil conditions.
That might be a little high there. I'm basing that off of the bids that came back with the other Carroll Road segment that we bid out previously. It involved also a culvert, which we do not have here, and it was a little bit longer than this stretch, I believe. So I could be a little high on my ballpark.
We looked at the other project was,
Okay. Right there.
this segment right through here.
And that one's, we're bidding out this year still. Part of it, half of it.
Carroll Road Trail is on our bike and pedestrian master plan.
I'd say those 2 are glaring gaps in our trail system.
Oh, I agree.
A lot of the other ones they'll come over time, but these 2 everything's built around them. We're either gonna build them or we're gonna have a gap in our system, and I would argue that coming from Fishers, where I've personally complained about gaps in trails, and they've started doing the same thing we're doing, we're just getting a jump start.
I think it needs done. I'm just a little sticker shocked about the total cost for 600
I
or
think
700
we all
feet.
are, to be
Yeah, for
honest. Like, this was probably gonna come to you 2 months
The date of
ago.
the scope letter is September of last year. We had the same sticker shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of floated to the top of projects we need to get moving, so. And this is in the capital projects plan, so this was budgeted for.
Correct.
So would we be sending this to council to talk about, or?
We'd put it on the consent agenda, so you're welcome to talk about it at council. I believe, correct? Or is this the services contract that just gets approved by
Public
It would
Works.
go to council, they would sign the contract.
I would be, like, personally more comfortable sending it there next week, just so everybody has a chance to give input on it, just for because of the expense of what the total project would be.
So I'll make a motion to recommend sending this to town council for consideration.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Okay, now the traffic signal.
There's two proposals here. I'm going to direct you to look at the Kimley Horn proposal. Let me close that. All right. It is just not letting me. Oh, there it goes. If you recall, this is the same, let me actually just bring it up on GIS. This is the same intersection we talked before. We did a warrant analysis on 600 West. Where am I? There we go.
Jeez.
So this is this intersection.
I'm looking at the other one.
The Brookside Parkway and Emerald Boulevard intersection with 600 West. In the bigger picture, we've got another signal up at 900. It is part of our corridor plan, and the proposal for this it does line up with what the the expected costs were going to be for the project, and generally what this would allow us to do is complete the design here in '24 and be able to move forward with construction in '25 or whenever we choose to move forward with it. Tim, can you help me out where we're paying?
Yeah, so this will be, we're making a recommendation for a proposal to the redevelopment commission, because this is actually, as much as they can, being funded through the Brookside TIF, slash HRH TIF, where we have built up some funds. So it won't, those funds won't cover the entire cost, but they'll cover hopefully a majority of the cost. So they're biting off, these are early expenses, no problem. So we're just we'd recommend this, and then at 6:30 we'll put it on the agenda for consideration by the RDC.
So again, this would be a recommendation to council entering into a contract, and it would also be going to RDC as well,
Okay.
since they're funding it. Tim, you said it would partially be funded. Do you know?
We'll, till we run out of money, and then we've added in addition. All this will be funded from Brookside. I'm talking about the full project because it exceeds the funds they have in that. So we actually have it budgeted in, I remember MVH or something for 2024 for a gap, and we'll do what we can to.
So does this design, does it just go to RDC?
Just goes to
then?
RDC because they're paying for the full design contract.
And then we would just want to update council that we've
Yeah.
done that, and,
Once we have a design and a bid, it'll have to go to both because they'll be sharing in the cost.
okay.
But we're gonna try, with timing, we actually get another draw in between there as well, so that'll help. So, because we were originally trying to get this done by the fall, and now it looks like it's gonna be a spring 2025 project, so. So we'll get that December draw in there as well, which will help.
So we did have two proposals for this. The HWC proposal was 20% more or so. And I think the Kimley Horn did the original warrant analysis for it, and also seems to comply with the schedule that the HWC does not list the schedule. Like this does. So I have it cost and compliance with what was requested.
Make a motion to recommend the Kimley Horn proposal to the redevelopment commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes 4-0. Okay, paying application and invoices.
There are 3 invoices attached. They're all road design. The USI is the 750 north, and the A&F is the Broadway and 600 West intersection. They're all progress invoices, and if you have any questions on them, let me know. Otherwise, the total for the 3 is listed there under item 6, if you want to do it in one motion.
New members are shy.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of of all 3 invoices,
You'd state the total.
totaling $79,750.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Any public comments? All right, next meeting will be September 3rd, 2024. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.